before, what we did see in terms of their defaults is Win sort of taking control of A main sort of by himself, doing a lot of work there. So, and in terms of the storyline, that's where I would put the first focus in terms of what Envy could do on the defense in those gun rounds, is make sure they have a plan for A main. But it looks like we're going to have a lot of action on A main. We're kicking things off here in the pistol between GENG and Envy, and it looks like it's going to start off with a fast-paced riv.
Frenzies abound here as well for both teams. A few other purchases, a little bit more detail. Classic for GMD. Food and Sean going to trade the first few, as it looks like they are going to test out A and see how they can weather this storm to start off.
Yeah, quick exchange, 1 for 1. Definitely, I think both teams are okay with this. And we can see that catwalk control has been taken by Envy because they realize, okay, there's not a fast movement through A main to the A site. Let's try to figure out what's going on. We're expecting there could be a rotation. And indeed, we're getting an A split getting set up. Oh, Food with the timing on that flash is beautiful. And they're going to take down both GENG catwalk players, leaving pretty much nothing to go with. There's nothing in the tank, just Sean and Michael, and they're forced to go into the A site.
They come as a combo, they work as a duo. Beautifully played there by Food and Crashies. And now we'll see pressure onto the site. Envy looking to possibly allow the post plant here without too much to say about it. And now they'll try to get in. Food on one side, the pinch from FNS as well. And Envy will find round number 1 on Ascent.
I love that from Envy, just because, you know, we saw from that catwalk play, Envy were just a step ahead in that sense. They already knew, based on what happened just previously on A main, what the next move had to be for GENG. And GENG weren't ready to anticipate that Envy would be like reading the game in that sense, and perhaps already expecting what they would be doing. If so, they would have waited in mid for a little bit. They had time to do it, but they didn't have the expectations. So Envy already, you know, 1 step ahead of the game. They're going to pick up the pistol, which will force an eco here for GENG.
I got you, bruv.
I like the rework back there onto the A site. Just kind of playing around with how GENG might rotate it out, and they get a little free space there. Seeing what they'll do for second round. Everything towards that B site. It looks like there's quite a bit of util here used on the econ. They want to know what's going down, or not the econ, sorry, for GENG's side, but they want to know where everyone could be pushing from the side of GENG. Already towards mid as FNS is ready.
Yeah, GENG definitely, from what we see, a team that likes these B splits, especially on some of these eco rounds. A lot happening though. We can see Food having that push to mid, and just great angles, and there's nowhere to go really for Envy. They're completely crunched, and well, for this round from Envy, exactly how you want an anti-eco to be, and 2-0, but it's straight into the gun rounds. The action is kicking off here quickly, on a sense.
Okay, Food. It's cool. You have run it back third round. We see you. 6-0 too. Not even letting Mummy and Caboose find any of the fun. Well, Caboose has an assist in there. But yeah, quick rounds there, and Envy wanted to make those expected after the pistol round. You should be able to get in there quick. Great job by GENG of trying to close some angles and get that work done, but it didn't work. Now for the first gun round, Dan. It looks like they're going to spread this out for a default to start things off.
Yeah, we actually don't see any focus at all around A main for either team here. One thing to bear in mind is that Envy is still carrying through some of those Spectres, so it is, you know, what we call that, you know, that bonus rounds, where they have a lot of money to fall by next round, even if they lose this one. So you would expect them to try to take fights, not necessarily want to play the retakes, but try to take fights before that. And we see a setup around the tree position, so, and all the Killjoy utility is there also. So Envy definitely very strong around that spot, giving up a lot of space towards B, so they would be committing to a B retake with this opener if B is attacked, which looks like that's what GENG are looking for. Of course, they would have to destroy the door and mark it. Crashies is looking for information too.
It could be right after this Dark comes in if they have it. Yeah, you see the bow coming out as they get a bit of a firefight. Dark goes up into the corner, door's broken, and they're going to start hitting that site full on. A little bit of a lurk in mid by GMD, and he could do some damage, Dan.
The run it back is going to be used there by Food. Using the wall, though, to try to clear some space towards the site so they can try to help Crashies, who's still backside alive by himself. GENG with an effective attack so far. He's able to get through, but it's looking quite desperate right now for GENG. Kusa's last man standing, and who's going to take him down? with, I believe, a Phantom that he just collected. That's an excellent retake. It looked very labored. I have to say, Riv, I'm actually quite shocked that Envy were able to make that work given the positioning that they had.
Yeah, the graces of having run it back on round 3 was huge there for Envy. Being able to get a second chance to make that work for themselves really made the difference. And I think the pause there that GMD also was able to put on Caboose coming back around made things difficult too.
So now, eco scenario for GENG. Half by light armor and a couple players, the Sheriff's, the Bucky. We'll see what they're able to do. Looking to focus on A main, but we've got Food and Wine. So this is quite dangerous. The orb is going to be picked up. Food might be trying to play contact off of the contact here of his teammate Mummy in the site. Mummy will jiggle. Oh, there's a great frag, and the opportunity is there for Food to swing. Great setup, and that might just win the round just off of the back of that one play.
Yeah, that's kind of a stay and play round, right? For GENG. They're like, well, we're probably pinched from each side. We got 3 taken out. The confidence from Envy is just overflowing at the moment. And that's going to be a final few shots from FNS. Great hits from Kusta, though. Almost takes him down. Is going to cause the rebuy of armor. And 4-0 here for Envy. A buy coming in for GENG. Ultimate's up. We're going to have the lockdown. You also have Empress. We'll see if they can make that work. This you called it right before it happened. The contact play and the peek from Wine before anything else could happen. A beautiful way to play that anti-eco.
And again, you mentioned it before, and we talked about it so much yesterday when Envy were playing. There's such a priority on getting those run it backs on Food because not only is he an amazing player, of course,
yeah,
it's just an extremely strong ultimate with that 6 charge as well, so you can get them quickly. Very impactful on a map on every map. And we'll see a lot of focus around tiles here. Mummy actually able to take down Sean in that 1v1 from Catwalk. So a 1-for-1 early typically favors the attackers. There's 2 play. Oh, it's a bait. It's a huge bait. They won't expect there to be another player, Pizza. So if they go for this mid split, which we know they love to do, it's going to be pretty dangerous here for GMD.
That was a great call on the bait. I was thinking of the 2 in Pizza. This is great. He flies out. Who's going to look to the right again? At least not right off the bat. It doesn't seem to bear any fruit at this point, and the push could be bad. GMD waiting. Oh, and he gets Food on timing. His Food looks the wrong way. That's going to be lockdown going out, and the nade kills it immediately.
3-player retake. It's going to be a tough one here. Caboose is still on the site, as is FNS, so they may not even have to give up the site. And GENG looking to commit here, using the Hunter's Fury. Michael looking to find his target, only gets 1 tag with it. At this point, though, Envy are desperately weak, trying to defend with very little, and it's not going to go too well for them. Spike planted just for the extra ultimate points, and GENG pick up their first round. And yeah, it's interesting because Food, he walked down mid and got caught by GMD, and I think he was very much expecting if it was going to be a B split, like where are the players in mid? So really nice from GMD to just be tucked away for so long.
Well, he got his answer, right? As well as GENG varying up kind of how they're playing things, not looking too much for Envy there, but allowing Envy to come to them. We heard Van Silly talking about Sean's interview where they found that it wasn't in their benefit to play to the other team's strategy. If they went in and played their own game as GENG, that's what worked out for them. That's what gave them the advantage round to round. Here, it's back to mid, but it's blades out for win, so it's a little bit more of an advantage.
Yeah, and there's, I think, a lot to say. Oh my god, the shock darts are doing a lot of damage there, but it is onto Sean, so if he gets an assist or a kill, of course, he can just heal back up. And what's interesting here, you mentioned the Blaze out for Win. Win is someone, he's playing the Jet. He's an amazing player. Jet's an incredibly strong agent, and this is an agent that can create lots of pressure, and it's not something that Envy's running. So this could be an X factor here for GENG and could work in their favor. And he's just waiting for a position to be able to strike there. As the rest of his team now start in the mid to late round, move towards that A site, he's going to be able to catch that rotation.
I mean, it's so good even to be that far up just for footsteps. You're going to get so much more information and range. Food! Oh, here's another one. He knows it's double blind coming out. Mummy is going to be able to start off with this operator, though, and that's Big Dan. He can usually shut down a round, but this is looking grim. 3v2. And we'll see if they can make their way into the site now. Mummy's looking to lock down a few shots. Is he here? Coming up, the shot misses. Mummy is going to be able to get the right click. Classic to count.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Win. So close to making that one work against Mummy. There's actually nothing Mummy can do if he hits that right click. Kusa now in an impossible situation. He's got third one, and Mummy knows it. He's able to take the peak.
Yep.
And you know, we talked about an X Factor. We talked about the dynamics with Jet. Mummy is essentially one of the answers there because he's the player that will be using the operator. His movement, his mobility is not quite as good as a Jet. He has a TP for that, but he has proven time and again that he is instrumental and so powerful with that operator, and he doesn't ever seem to miss. So he's a very stable player, Mummy. And we can see that works out right there at the end as Envy go 5 rounds to GenG's 1. GenG not finding the same success that they found against 100 Thieves on their attack just yesterday.
They're not. It seems like they're, you know, getting whittled away a little bit in their health bars before they're actually able to make things happen. We saw that it was Sean down to about 33 HP, I believe, at the beginning of that round from a few shock darts. And we'll see a bit of a purchase coming in here. Full armor, Sheriff for Sean. Maybe Empress out once he finds something there, and he'll be following somebody around. Let's see on the minimap as he's over on the left side as they start off setting up some sentinels. So another default. Could be orb grab here to start off for GenG. Is now they have to really consider how they can start putting rounds in their favor.
Yeah, and we will see that.
Like that peak.
Mummy's actually changed his position there. The operator, they might not expect it. And oh, that's the power of the operator. You know, you can move it around. And when you want to peek against an operator or a rifle, it's a totally different ball game. And so if you don't expect the operator, you're in a lot of trouble. And that's going to pay off here for Envy. And Win is trying to get something back. Oh, he's going to hear the running. This could be insanely huge. He's going to dash. He gets the punish. Oh my goodness. Win gets a double. And that's going to open up the round. It was looking very difficult before that, but Win has changed everything.
When you're doing that in game, usually you just get your head blown up because you're chasing this guy. Win obviously makes it work. Creating space and getting the kill. No one saw that. And we will continue this one at 3v4 as the retake now coming in for Envy on the post. Here's the plant from Kusta, and they'll let it happen for now. Mummy waiting for the push, or Mummy waiting for the push forward. Cat check comes in. GMD has been so strong from this position. It just feels confident to stay there and get any of the flank.
Finesse trying to creep his way out here. Oh, he actually catches GMD. And that's something.
It's like catch somebody in ability day.
Yeah, able to get out of there. And he might be able to get an extra couple kills there because the exit through Gelato is coming through to try to save their guns. If these enemy players... Oh, FNS, he wants it. He's going to go for the second as well. And Kusa will take him out. But he did do some extra damage. Couple kills, keeping the economy honest for GenG. And again, they haven't been winning rounds here, so they don't really have much economy just yet. And that's definitely going to be a factor. We definitely would like to see Win on that operator as much as possible, but not really all that possible just yet. But 2 rounds for GenG, thanks to Win's luck through A main. You can see here, he heard the steps from Sova, from Crashies, you know, using the drone for that mid-round information, and did not work out too well in their favor that time.
I mean, you got to take that window, right? What a fast and great act there from Win to capitalize. 8 ults across the board, Dan. This could be an explosive round. 3 on the side of GenG, 5 for Envy. They have a lot of options here as they're on a partial as well. You see some Buckies and Sheriffs are on the board, and FNS is going to make it a little bit easier for Envy in this round 8.
Yeah, we've seen a lot more focus around B main from GenG so far, and we'll go into that a little bit later as we do see GenG beginning to work towards this very fast B-split, but into the Bucky they go. Caboose is there. Oh my god, the ranges are perfect for the Bucky, and Caboose gets the trio of kills, spikes down on the ground, and once again, Win has to save it, but in much more difficult circumstances. Just trying to find some kills, and once again, Mummy looking good, and it's a flawless round, and if you look at what they had going into that round, it just... Oh, it's just heartbreaking for GenG, and
they didn't use a single ultimate, Dan.
Yeah, that's very true. They didn't have to. It's concerning, Riv, I got to say, because we're seeing a difference in the approach from GenG. They aren't going really for all that much A main control. for some reason they have decided that, you know, mid and B main is generally where they will be. That's where the weaknesses should be. But Envy don't seem to be weak in those areas at all. So far, Envy are looking like an absolute fortress.
And look at the change too, right? The Bucky push, get to an angle that's going to be a return on investment. GENG are having none of it. They're going to do the Judge Rush, throwing down the vertical. He's going to be able to get the run it back, and he goes down to a frenzy. The trade here is not the return they were looking for, Dan.
Remaining.
It's definitely not. Oh, he's able to get crashes, but that's going to be that. And I don't know. I don't envy Prius or Observer in saying some of these rounds, man. I don't know who you're supposed to pick to watch in these spots, but that's going to be the 7th round on the board for Envy.
Absolute, just flying in. I mean, you want to be able to test Envy as well in that situation. You're on a partial buy. Obviously, we saw the Judge coming in. They're flying through, and they didn't get much out of it either. You know, Envy just has an answer for everything right now, and that's so hard to play against. You did get to run it back that round. Lockdown's still going to be able to push you out of sight. Hunter's Fury, if you are actually getting into post plant. And we got to say, GENG still has a few ults to work with as well. Now the Empress there and Lockdown could really open up a sight if they stretch Envy thin here and kind of wait out the rounds.
Yeah, Food will he'll be pushed off of Catwalk. Well, actually, he's going to use the wall and the hot hand. So you can see that really does force the drone. And so that trade of abilities there, it feels somewhat even. The drone is extremely valuable. With that said, but Food is going to just be holding on to trees still, and we get a reset from GENG. A re-smoke there as well from Mummy onto that catwalk position to allow Food to hold it. It's actually a slight gap to help Food out, so I like to see that.
So they just pulled the turret back. Kusta grabbed that from B, so they're going to put it back up here for flank. The take is going to be onto A as the smokes come out. Dark cover. Crashy's just waiting. Get that default dart in to get any ticks. Win already in their face. And now that they know, they hear the running in the sight. It's going to be a 5v5 retake. These are the ones you love to see.
Yeah, great positioning here around Catwalk. Oh, the crossfire. Oh, into Caboose, though. GMD swinging a little bit too deep. The showstopper's pulled out, and that could signal the end of the round here if it finds its targets. But Michael able to find a quick kill before the showstopper gets launched out. And it's looking like it's up to win once again. Knives come out, and Food is just so ready for it. Able to do what he needs to do to win the round for Envy. And a defense, I mean, I've got to say, Riv, you know, whenever I think about Envy, I think about a few things. One of them is a team that's it's just rock solid on every single map, and it's the defensive side too. Like, they feel like they're one of the hardest teams to play an attack side against. They're so strong on the defense, and it seems like that's ringing true here as well.
And they're, I mean, I gotta say, these ults for GENG have been there for quite a few rounds. This lockdown to even test what might Envy do from it. They've used 2 ults for the last 2 rounds to just keep taking these. I'm gonna stop talking about ults now. Let's see what they got as they go into the strats. Cover mid, that's gonna be the push coming in from Sean now. They go back to a bit of the mid work, making sure they have any lurkers on lockdown, and they can get themselves some better info and positioning to start off a round.
Mummy looking for the kill there on to the elusive win. Here comes that drone looking for info. Taken down, though, before it really saw anything except for Sean on the Reyna. And once again, you can see how GENG have really switched up their approach, looking for a lot more focus around A. Don't have any control towards B, which is where Envy decided to set up at the beginning of the round. And here comes the push, split.
Nice try there.
On the back of the split, we do have the Hunter's Fury going to Nelo's position. Oh my god, Crashies with the double. Envy, they're just so difficult to deal with.
Oh, it was a great try, and the Hunters open. Food in there. Caboose now getting the work done with 2. His win is left alone. He's full up. Double up draft. But he is against
30 seconds
a
left.
lot of health right now, combined with 3 members of the side of Envy.
Oh my god.
Oh no, this is what you get to do when you have an excess of ults, Dan.
Oh, it feels so bad as it is. Like, if it wasn't difficult enough, They're just like, yeah, let's just drop the ult.
In the half.
Word.
Going to the last round, we don't need that lockdown. And they know the economy is terrible for their opponents, so it's just so brilliant of them to just lock it in like that. And it's really looking like GenG is having a very hard time finding rounds. And Envy once again proving that it's not just that they have good setups and they're very good at reading the game.
Yep.
Individually across the board, they are just, their level is just insane.
And they really haven't tested B. I wouldn't say at all. They've been there a few times, but it has just been to see if anyone's lurking out. A seems to be their comfortability, and they haven't been able to get in there. Mid worked for the first few rounds, as we kind of predicted and might see throughout the way that they play. But that's been kind of given up too, as they just feel like a few didn't go their way, and they got to change it up fully here. Still have that lockdown from Kusta. GMD with a bit of knowledge from the shadows could be a possibility as they're back to mid, they're back to pushing, and the spike's going to be there too. So this is almost committed.
Yeah, Crashy's drone through A main, so they have all information, and that allows Food to take position on Wine. So this mid-round rotation back to A, the positioning is actually very good for Envy. Having Food in the Wine position, Crashy's can play retake. He's actually going to drop onto the site. He wants to get the challenges in, and you can't blame him when he's hitting shots like that. But there comes Food from A main, making the difference there for Envy, and GMD is the last man standing. Looking for that fake TP to see if that's going to give him anything here, as he has to jump through to find the spike, and all he's going to find is the barrel of the gun of Mummy, and that's going to be a wrap. A 10-2 first half in favor of Envy. It's not a good start at all for GenG.
Dan, it's the unknown that is crippling GenG right now. Every time they go somewhere, the unknown, where Food was that time, to take them down from Wine. A quick position doesn't have the right flank, doesn't have that right information, and they keep getting hit. That's their thorn in the side. It just seemed like they couldn't get around that. We'll see what they have for second half here. Like you said, not a great start. Pistol is imperative here for GenG, unless they can just put up every round after that. It's going to be tough, though. Envy is on a roll.
Definitely, and I think there's a lot to be said for the lack of a lurker on GenG's attack, but we'll talk more about that later on, as we'll see, as you say, this really critically important pistol. GenG on that defense, and they have that initial focus around B main, but as that early rush timing it goes past, we'll see them starting to spread out a little bit more, looking for information around Catwalk, but the timing from Food is just perfect. That curveball fully blinding two players. They get positioned towards tree. They can do whatever the hell they want towards that A site now as they pick up the frags on the way.
Awesome to see here, flying through. You'd love to see the fast pistol round strat. GenG trying to answer. Kusta and Sean doing a beautiful job as they retake tree. 2v1 as Food has the frenzy, and he's locked into almost under hell position. I should say heaven, but he gets himself to default boxes.
Food, he's going to be surrounded, trying to work the crate on site, but GND takes him down. Yeah, just an amazing re-entry there. The paranoia coming through from GND was great. Was huge. Great connections, and that's something. You know, that's something for GenG to maybe get some of the confidence back, get themselves a good start, of course. And the thing is, though, we don't know exactly what to expect just yet from Envy's attack in the way that they will be running the default. And I think that having Win on the Jet, if they can get an operator into his hands early on, I feel like that could really be very powerful. Sean as well is going to be extremely crucial. Just having disruption in Envy's default when they get to that on the next buy round is going to be, I think, one of the big win conditions for GenG.
And you can see they're just full armor into the Spectres so they can get utility. None of these Bulldog have utility buys with armor. They want to make sure that this round has they can give this round everything they offer. Door's gone already as they try to drop that. And a good push here. GenG trying to get a bit of info. They're going to find FNS. Kusta takes him down, and now they can start to work a little bit smarter on this round.
It looked like FNS was looking at the radar at that precise moment that peaks. His reactions were very slow, but especially as the IGL, you're definitely looking at the radar perhaps a lot more than your teammates. And that is pretty tough. You can see actually GenG are happy to kind of give up these close positions. They don't want to allow the numbers advantage to overwhelm them. So much easier to play retake against a team that has very limited utility. We'll see how that works for them. Spraying through the dark cover for one. And the Nano Swarm as well, slowing down the push, not really allowing envy entry. And Sean, he's going to charge up his ult with a couple kills, and the anti-eco is dealt with almost flawlessly, just losing Kusa, which feels quite acceptable. But now, as we mentioned, Riv, the real play begins. What is Envy's attack going to look like, and how does GENG respond?
You might get where are they going? I say raise towards B, Roomba to start, info gain on whoever might be pushing through, or just nade towards cat start. Maybe they do that. And they are going to leave right now FNS over towards that side. It seems like they'll consistently do that to start these rounds. It's so good to recognize the early push, Tacti Bear. And they'll have a few here to start this off. It's going to be that 2-2 towards B with just roam from Crashies right now.
Yeah, and GENG got the A main control early on. So I'm curious to see if we'll see the round slow down after we get this initial play for map control from Envy. And they've got that presence on mid. They took B main over, and now you can see they're rotating around. And the drone comes through from Michael to see, okay, they're rotating out, they're resetting. Which direction are they going? Sees that most players are in mid, so at this point, Envy could still go either way. But to answer that, another information play. We get a forward gelato push coming in from Win. And now if they time this well, this could make a huge difference. But they are on Spectres. Again, that is going to be problematic for the range that Win's going to be playing with. Oh, he gets it though.
Spike down mid.
Took so much. Bringing the recoil down, gets it. That's going to be 2 down now on the side of Envy. GENG feeling good here. FNS has some good positioning. Got everybody pushing out, but they're trying to find him. Phantom coming up big. Almost gets him with the util out. And now they know his positioning.
Last player standing.
Big round so far from GENG.
Seconds left.
Spectres against Phantoms. It's a 2v1 now in favor of GENG. The spike is on the ground, and Mummy has to push forward. The Paranoia is going to connect. Oh, he's going to make it happen for Envy. That is disgusting. The red ball clutch. Oh, that Paranoia was perfect. What a beautiful, beautiful clutch from Mummy. I thought that GENG had that in the bag.
Standing.
I am right there with you, and honestly, Dan, it should have been. That is a round that you win. What a play from Mummy. Anybody to do it, obviously he comes out and makes it happen. And that's 11-4. These early rounds were huge for GENG to be able to get. And Envy stops the bleeding early. Like you said, what's going to happen for this first gun round? Well, it took us for a ride.
Well, the interesting thing is that at least for GENG, they did a lot of damage. So we got 4 Spectres on Envy. Even though Envy won the round,
that's a
they've
great
got a
point,
worse
Dan.
buy. So it's basically the same round, but in reverse now. So we'll see the difference in approach already. Michael's starting off with drone info. At the start of the round, they got catwalk control. They've given up A main, have GENG, and Envy will this time have control of A main, but they don't have control of B main just yet. So Win getting that info with that catwalk, and at this point, GENG don't really know what's going on. They haven't got any control of the extremities, so they've got to start worrying, and they don't have the drone anymore. So they don't have a way to easily gain the information that they need. And here comes a contact into A main from Envy.
See, there's the Paranoia. Oh, that was dark cover. Paranoia not out. And they're going to start hitting the site. Mikhail just calling that. Shots through the smoke, making sure he can still add pressure later as the flank now coming in from both sides. Is that a rotation all the way around from Win? Looks like he's just going to hold cap from Tree, but that's going to be a good pincer here on what may happen inside the site. Here comes GENG.
Nice trade coming in from Michael, though, and Crashies is jumping straight onto the top of Generator, standing large and in charge before dropping off quickly, though. 4 versus 4 retake as GENG indeed using that lockdown. Ooh, if the shock dart's going to connect to destroy it, doesn't look like it's going to. And oh dear, that's actually a detain as well on Crashies. That's not ideal. And they're all playing from A main, so this is beyond awkward at this point. Gusta, no fear in the dark cover, looking for that fight. It's an absolute brawl there in the dark cover, and Envy starting to come out on top. TND wondering what the hell happened to his teammates, as he's unable to have anyone to help defend him to defuse. And Envy pick up the round, and oh man, it doesn't feel like that should have happened at all, but Envy, man, they just always make it work.
Yeah, having 5 in the one area becomes or the rest of the people, I should say, in one area is always like, oh no. there's a chance we really lose this round. But like you said, they make it work. And yeah, I'm sure GMD was kind of just watching his team run into that void of a dark cover and wondering where they went. Unfortunate there. We'll see what happens here. Possible final round of our first map, Dan. 12-4 here has Envy. Seems to be feeling on point right now. And Food takes down Kusta to start us off here. Another bonus too.
Food so fast. Kusta, know what hit him. Spread it out though, so the retake is definitely a strong possibility here.
You should
Oh,
run.
Finesse has a lockdown that he could try to place, and he's going to do just that inside the site. That's going to buy a lot of extra time. There's no real way to actually destroy that. And they can't reasonably get the kills in time, so they're going to have to get out of there. Oh, Sean, is he going to get caught? He's just barely caught.
Jazz
Oh,
hands.
no! And Mummy's tiles ready for the punish. And that's going to make things even more difficult. They're going to charge down Crashies, who was paranoid. And GG moving through the site. Finesse able to defend, but there's the trade from the Bucky. Showstopper comes out to finish it off, and Caboose is going to nail it.
Attackers win.
And that's a 13-4 victory. The first map in the hands of Envy.